So we're up to, guys, okay, we're going to plow ahead. So repeat yesterday's questions. The whole shir was repeating, saying the question in different ICS for your benefit. Okay, so the technical question, in other words, the language, in technical languages, that we have demonstrated that the koyach ha'ishavos, which creates yesh ma'ayin, is dovuk. It's a revelation that's dovuk and not separate. And fundamentally, it's the same as oir. That's why the word alekai carries both meanings, oir and koyach or chayis. We pointed out that it's an absolute contradiction in inyan and in practicality and the effect. Oir can't create yesh ma'ayin, Gemara. Its ischadshus has to be dafka from atmi's dika source. The source has to be nisalim. The source cannot be constantly present to create yesh ma'ayin. You will never give a sense of yeshus, of independence. There'll be no yesh ma'ayin. You can't create yesh ma'ayin. Which says that there is a God, says there cannot be anything else. I'm finished. Yesh ma'ayin says there's something else. And that can only be when Hashem is invested, not in the way of complete hell. Arichas Hamayim, pages and pages and pages to prove no. That the chayis, that the ischachus of yesh ma'ayin is dovok in like oir is, and it's manifested in the gashmius of creation that you can see be'ein gashmi how that creation has infinite properties. Kayom be'ish, kayom be'min. The whole arichas for the last few weeks. But how do we reconcile? So how do you reconcile that the divine investure in creation is at once oir and chayis, the mile of oir and the mile of chayis of koich, which is atzmi, and the source is dafke behelim, and dafke atzmusa yizbarech can create a yesh that feels the yesh aniver that I am like God is. Oir cannot create I am that I am. Chas v'shalom. Oir will create an entity that knows there's a God. That's what oir is. And yet they wish to create an entity that doesn't know there's a God. That's dafke behelim. No, it's dovuk in the market. It's oir. So what's going on? This is in 2 minutes, the whole adichas of the shaila and the maskana. But now we're coming to the answer of the mind. This is now the nekudah. So second paragraph, ois zayin. Anybody has a question, a comment, please speak now or forever hold. You should always be at peace. That's the truth. Hold your peace, share your peace. Because there's no point in giving the answer if we're not clear on the question. Yeah, cool. So we'll plow ahead. L'chaim. Ha'inyan hu shadveik is the kriyach. It's take dovok. Dovok means that the koyach that's invested in creating, expressed by Hashem in creating yesh ma'ayin, is dovok. It's not separate and not even, like he said in the beginning of the Maimah, he entertained, it seemed, the notion that it's mamish a separate koyach, like throwing a stone, where the koyach is separate from the thrower completely, gone. Here he adds, it's not even kamoy at the end of Zayin, or it's not even kamoy dovar an divdol b'mekayre. It's not even like separate. But still not the same as oir. What's the difference? In the it's not the same as per se. Let's read some oisius inside and we'll try to explain it. That is, the nature, but light Gashmi is the metaphor here. Light Gashmi is patently and transparently an expression of the Mokir. In the most simplest understanding of light, it is emanating directly and naturally from the light source. And it's a revelation from the etzem b'oifen timidi b'li hefsek klal. It's a natural thing. It's a natural thing that a thing will express its presence. There's no effort in that. There's no chiddush in that. That's what oil means. Oil means its presence revealed. Or even more, less refined. You turn the light on. Turn the light on. So, and the room is now, you see objects. The sight of the object is consistent. The whole, as you're looking at it, there's no change whatsoever in the fact that the light is bouncing off it and you're seeing it. No change in the object. It's effortless and there's no change. Avo, let's go further. Let's put it together. Reserve your conclusions in your head till we finish the ois. Avol adveikos the koyach. But when the Eibishter invests his koyach to create yesh ma'ayin, it's dovuk, but it's a constant expression of him. However, it's not just an emanation. Ella is the key word. A renewed investment. Here's the nakuda in these two words. It's a constant novelty. It's a constant novelty. Oir is not enough. Oir reveals that there's a God. Well, hello, of course there's a God. Nothing novel in that. There's a creation. What did you say? Shadam is a creation. To create that creation, it's a constant, novel. I can't believe it. There's a bria. I'm being cutesy a little bit, but I mean the Indian. The bria has no place. The bria creation has no place. It's only the Eibishter. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Who's the talker? How could there be a talker? I mean, I'm being again cutesy. But to be a bria, it's a constant chiddush mitzad atzmusa yizbarach. I want a creation, I want a creation, I want a creation. So it's dovuk, constant, but it's being yischadish b'chol rega. But one of the ramifications of this is God's desire for a relationship with you is ever fresh and renewed every second. That's this chachus. Dein yeshes. I want to be part of your yeshes. I want your yesh to reveal my yeshes. Frankly, that's what it is. The yesha nivra should express the yesha amiti. It's not like God Nisava had a taiva once, and now things, go from there naturally. Not so. The whole thing is fundamentally a chidush and novel and fresh. Every moment, like the first second that Allah b'ritzoyno you should ever did it b'tachtoin. For God, the relationship never gets stale. Never. And it ought not for us. That's the point. Okay, we're already putting in the Oisius and Let's learn what the Maimon says first. My watch is broken, so someone has a physical watch. Yeah. Not broken, it just needs a change of battery. I'm broken. Whereas the creation is something that's constantly renewed every second. Every second is like Rosh Hashanah, the Sabbath, that all of it. Like we say every day in davening, we're going to say Amachadish. We praise Hashem, renews Matuv and His goodness. Whole Yom Tamid Ma'aseh Bereshis, every day continuously the works of creation. The simple meaning of the word Tamid is every day. But he says the Masha Kosa B'chol Yom Olav Dafka. It doesn't just mean every day and that's it. El B'chol Eis B'chol Rega Nas Achidus the Ma'aseh Bereshis, every nanosecond and even less than that is renewed. The whole Ma'aseh Bereshis. V'inyan is Chadshus. Here's the Koyach HaPoel Shemischadish Mim Koyrei. It's a constant output of the Eibishter to renew and express this desire for creation. And it must be renewed every second because it's fundamentally novel and impossible. Oh, it says this is done Eibishter. No. That's a ongoing, simple truth, unchallengeable, and true. So it is pashtus. It's a natural pashtus. I mean, so that's a portion what we're saying, but so far we'll leave it like this. Okay, it's the not analogy. Yeah, the analogy he brings is quite interesting. I mean, you could find other analogies, but this is the analogy. As is known, the illustration for this, the renewal. Interesting, very interesting that he brings this much upon him. The renewal of the intellectual ability that happens as a result of what? Withdrawal, sleep. What happens when you sleep? So the koyach haseichel is withdrawn, as it would, goes inwards. Is a word for it. Withdrawn. Retreats, retracts. Mikli hamayach, from the literally the vessels of intellect. They're not suffused with the faculty of seichel. So as mistalik ha-seichel, misalim mekode, the keich ha-seichel departs and becomes misalim, concealed, absorbed, or retreats to its source. And that's why he adds in bracket shalochen yochalisin acholim. That's why a person can dream, and what happens in the dream, he fuses and joins opposite things, which he could never entertain when he's awake, but yet makes sense in the dream, because it doesn't have to make sense. The kli amayach are not suffused. The oir is not illuminating the brain as it is when he is awake, because and so therefore the brain is not suffused with seichel, so it's not seichel. The logical is entertained. And yet through sleep, or dafka through sleep rather, through being withdrawn to the source, mischadish b'chayis chodosh, he wakes up with a new chayis. After sleeping, he can understand better. After resting, he understands better. It's a fascinating motion. So how does a person, it's not just seichel, it's all the koiches. How the person gets a new burst of chayis Dafka by retreating to the market.
How does this relate to koyach?
Dafka by the withdrawal. Likewise with the koyach hapoel shemiahaves hanevroim ba'ayin liyesh, that creates existence. Ex nihilo shebechol rega v'rego mis'al v'nichlo b'mkoydoi. Every moment it withdraws, and every moment it simultaneously chayzo mischadesh b'chayis chodesh, and then emerges with a new chayis. So what are you asking? The marshal?
Drawing of the koyach, not the ischadshus of the koyach?
It's both. He sleeps and then he comes out with a energized seichel.
Saying nimshal.
The nimshal. Every second it's withdrawal and expression, withdrawal and expression. The parallel in Allah is what, friends? I told you this many times. It's a chiddush of the Rosh Hashanah, and you saw it in the Rebbe Lekutei. It's what?
Kedushin.
Huh?
Kedushin.
Kedushin. What did you say?
Oh, I thought the salting with meat causing.
Kedushin. Someone said Kedushin. Kedushin, marriage is an ongoing hischadshus. It's not like you get married once and that's it. It's a kinyan, it's a contract, and now it just goes until it's undone. It's not so. Every second is what? Is this hischadshus of the what? Of the Kedushin. Why? Because it's impossible that you should be one. 1 and 1 equals 2, not 1. And you come from different backgrounds, you're different people. You have every strike against this could possibly work. The first strike against you is your different genders. How are you supposed to be compatible for the rest of your life? The next strike against you is your respective in-laws. Maybe that's the first strike. And yet you become one. Why? Because it's a constant ischadshus. It's a constant, not married, not married, not married, not married. Which is why it could fall apart any second. In a second. In a second. It's fragile on the one hand. On the other hand, it's the deepest union possible. There is no other union like it. 1 on 1 is 1. But it's fragile. It needs constant discharges, constant attention, constant work. Continuing in the Maimer, but we have to. We said that, yeah. We have to Mizeh Gufa, yes?
The end of the brackets.
What's that? No, we said that. Say it again. No, we're after Mizeh Gufa, a few lines below. Say it again. Likewise, the Koyach. The Eibush is investor in creating every moment it withdraws and then why? Because creation is fundamentally impossible. Yeshmain is fundamentally impossible. Anything outside the Eibush is fundamentally impossible. So that's a constant chayis. Therefore itself, let's still in the words of the mind, better move and mileless. Now we'll understand the mile of koyach ha'oir. Oir in sof and al derech zatzilus is not this constant, this chadshus. It's an Eibishter, beautiful. It's not a novel revelation every second. On the contrary, you didn't get the message the first time. You're not going to get it the second time, the next second. So an Eibishter. In the words of the Maimik Keser, because this which we say that oil must be always connected. You put something in between the source of light and the light is, as I stated, besides, but anyway, the light disappears. Understand my question? It's not so.
By physical light is not so.
Not so, no. The source can disappear and the light will continue. There are stars that no longer exist, but we still see their light. But there's Hesbadim, whatever the Hesbad is. Then Pashtus.
That's because of the distance.
That's
because of the distance.
It's no longer Dovuk in the market, it's still light. It's still showing that there's a sun, that there's a star, and the star is already dark and dead. Because it travels, light travels, yeah. Because there's a distance and it'll keep on going. At a certain speed. Kaparim, that's a whole parsha. We're not going to go into that. So he wants to bring out that even though it is Dovok, we just said now that Chayis, as we understand, it's a constant Chiddush, right? It is also constant. It's constantly connected, expressing the Moker. If you put something in front, it disappears. You don't see it. So, but still it's different to different Vekas. Bringing the Shaila. If we're going to put something in between the oil and the Moker, the source of the oil, then the oil disappears. But the dvekas of koyach is that it is separate and renewed every second. It is indeed. Now here comes the crunch line. Because koyach expresses the etzem, not which expresses the moy, that there is a God. There is a God, a knowable God. That's what oyer expresses. Koyach expresses the God that you cannot know, that create yesh ma'ayin. And therefore it's dafke, bis almost constant renewal. To know that God, you need constant renewal. In the words of the Maimon, okay, now he's making it more difficult for us, but we'll learn it. Let's learn it. Yeah, question. Speak up loud, though. Come closer. Come closer.
A few days ago, we were still arriving at this nakuda that ultimately we're with our limited minds, so we try to present our best mishalim in an effort to better understand. I think it's interesting that this is the mashal that we ended up with Kayach and this idea.
Before you go further,
the idea of
there's a mashal and how you see it in creation, two separate things.
Right, but I think that
this is not before the last point we brought was not a mashal. It's how you see it in creation. Now he's giving him a parallel mashal. Okay, yeah, just separate and making clear this. Evidence in creation, and then a parallel in the human condition. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
No.
But even in this dogma, we're only arriving at the fact of that there's a helam, and then there's a new chiddush of chayas that comes forth.
And it can only come through helam. This mashal is useful in illustrating that in order to get a new burst of life, there's got to be concealment.
But my question is why this dogma? Why this dogma?
I said there's other dogmas you could make. I have some in my head. Which one? What better one do you have?
One that came. I mean, the classic is a rav that needs to go into have tzimtzum in an effort to give something over to a Talmud.
No, but he wants.
There's a major halamas that go around over there, and still he's able to give things over at the end, and the Talmud could receive everything, and even better. There's a major halamas.
But that's because that marshal that you're bringing is because of the chesaron of the Rav. Here's of the Talmud rather. The Talmud is far away, and it's a big avodah for the Rav to get the seichel to him. And he has to be metzamtzim, etc. Here we're talking about not the Makabel, the Mashpi himself, the Rav himself. He's exhausted. And for him, for the seichel to come to Chayes Chodesh, he himself has to be in a state of Isalmus, for him to express his own seichel, in his own mind. Not just because of the chesaron of the Makabel. If the Rav would speak to someone on his level, he wouldn't have to go through this whole process.
What are we deriving specifically from this dogma?
This dogma brings out that in order for a Chayes Chodesh to come, there has to be Isalmus.
Not the B'chol Rega V'Rega element.
That's B'chol Rega, yeah, not so much B'chol Rega. No, you're right. Not the B'chol Rega component. That's not brought out over here. Just this inyan of his almos, the sleep, the rest, the withdrawal is the means by which to be able to produce, to reveal. Can't reveal without withdrawal. Light doesn't have any withdrawal.
Okay, so then, there are other dugmas of resting your kaifis in an effort to be able to produce.
Well, that's the same moshel. You could say Shinda, you're going to give 1,000 things. It's all the same moshel. That's what he wants to bring from this moshel. Not the constancy of it, but just these almas of it. Still, tzarich iyun, other mashalim, even for that. But I call upon him. Now, deep dive. Vinyan Bazeh. As you often found, when he's masbir answer, he makes it more, by introducing more teaching, challenges is more, makes it more difficult to understand. Because that just shows the paucity of our understanding. I'll call upon him, let's go. Okay. So koyach is like inyan akelim. Now, I'm a McGill student is sitting here, and you're going to say like vessels. What are you talking about? Vessels. What's that mean though? So let's understand fundamentally that we say keli, we're talking koyach hagvul. Keli means a defined expression of the divine. Now let's go further. Shazen Nemar, it's about the union of the dvekas of the kelim. Dvekas of the kelim. What does that mean? The expression of the koyach hagvul of God. About this, it says in Zohar, he and his causations, which means his koyach hagvul, his kelim, are one. Posmeitas. Shesh b'zeh beis perushim. These two perushim, see ayin beis. Pirush aleph. That was my modern often based on ayin beis and the tifstin yonim. Pirush aleph. So who's the he? He and his, who exactly is the he? Also is relative. So the first pirush is the eo, the subject matter is the oir. The oir and the keli is all one. Okay? Whatever that means, we're going to hit the pause button on that. Sure. Pirush habeis, and the second pirush shekoil al yichud hakelim b'mkoiram. The eo is not the oir, but the source, the Eibishter himself, not his expressions. The first one is both of expressions are all one, finite, infinite. Gvul bli gvul. Let's always remember, when we say the word oir, it's all relative. But relative to the context, it's inyan ablikvu. We say keli, we mean koyach hagvul. Boundless expression of the divine, hardcore definition, to one degree or another. So the first pirish is that his expression of infinite and expression of finite, it's all one. Portion, it's all him. David's expressing himself this way, expressing himself that way. That's one of the pirush from Havaya, Hu Alikim. The Hu is Eibishter, Havaya Blikvul, Alikim is Gvul, Nes Teva, it's all him. But Nes is Eibishter, Teva is Eibishter. From our perspective, it's obvious, less obvious, but the emphasis is the Zohar is Kul Achad, it's all one. That Pashat. That's a simple Pshat. Pirush HaBeis, Shekoil al Yichud HaKelim b'Mkoiram, we're talking about the Keli, not Lagabi, relative to Hashem's other expression of Bligvul, but Kul Achai v'Gam Mayachad in the source. What's meant this? Let's see. The difference is when we say that there's the yichud of the keli and the oir, we're acknowledging the two separate things and they're one. It's a unity that of two different realities. Even though they work in tandem and they become one. The infinite and the finite interplay, and the koyach hagvul quantifies the koyach habligvul, and the koyach habligvul illuminates the koyach hagvul, because the koyach hagvul on its own would be seen as separate. No, it's revelation, it's all God. We're harmonizing two things. But this yichud is saying that where God is concealed, it's just as much him as where he's revealed. Fine. But not that the keli reveals him. Not that the koyach hagvul reveals him. Let's see the oasis inside. What to deal with this tomorrow. Get to the end of the oasis, and Beis Hashem will give oasis tomorrow. Yeah? After the chassan. But where we speak about the koyach hagvul as it is in the moker, uba'ofen shakeli atzmai nasa koyach ha'etzem. The koyach hagvul is expressive of atzmos, period. A giluy atzmos. As opposed to where he's concealed, that's also him. This is giluy atzmos. Koyach hagvul. V'hu mitzad inyan ha'ischatsha shebekoyach. That's because dafke in koyach and gvul, we see the ischatshus, the complete, the pure power of atzmos that can create what yesh ma'ayin, something other, chidush. Kanal shekoyach k'manyin ha'kelim, koyach is like keli, koyach hagvul. Let's finish the words. Shemachadash mekoyre b'chayis chodash. It's renewed every moment. Achesh and it's alab and mekoyre after being withdrawn. Ad shemitzayusei koyach ha'etzel. Okay, this is mamish, and this. I make there was frustrated chassidus would have a lot to say. So I don't have a lot to say, but a little bit to say, and Beis Hashem will express that tomorrow. Meanwhile, you can learn this and think about it. The other day I was saying, it was yesterday, the day before, you know, the Rebbe pours and pours whether we are such interested and devoted mekablim or not. On the other hand, the Rebbe told Rebbe Nissen, apparently Rebbe Nissen Nemenov, that the Maimer on Shabbos is in accordance with the way the Bochrim learned Chassidus. that week. So Tavshin Chafei, just want to tell you, these years, in the early years, Tavshin Chafei, good to Chevre. Now, good guys. Today's Mashpiyim, Rosh Yeshivas, the Kaplan, the label Kaplans, and the label Shapiro, and the
From going down this route, you have to bring out the bottle of Moscow.
Huh?
You have to bring out the bottle of Moscow. Now, we'll dive in a little later.
So there is this element, there is this element of the Makabal being me'oired by the Mashpia, the Chassid. So you can see the Chavram is good gekocht in Chassidus and in Nigel, also the Nigel in those years. Chassidus. Anyway, this is like a dangerous path to go down to try and understand what. But the Rebbe said it, and it's a Metzias. So we, Baruch Hashem, here we are, Tavshin Pei Hey, and we have the schus to be able to learn Tavshin Chav Hey, and break our heads a little bit, and get to know God in a way we didn't think we could, which is the whole point. Okay, no story today, sorry, ran out of time.